Google literally changed reactive PR forever and made it super accessible for 90% of businesses. So this is what Google Trends looks like now. And I don't know if you remember how it looked like before, but the Trending Now tab was just basically a list of the most spoken about topics. And you could look at some real-time searches, change by location, but it wasn't super sophisticated. So this Google version 2.0 is very, very powerful. But before we get into how we kind of use it, we need to go through how you utilize data in newsjacking in general. So this is the lifetime of a news story. Any news story that breaks, you're kind of like, the interest is at the bottom, then it rises very, very rapidly. And you have a few opportunities to newsjack. Ideally, you want to be the second person to comment or to talk about the story. But a lot of the time, this involves a lot of speed. But there's also a lot of interest that builds up. So if you implement any type of reactive PR anywhere within this part of the graph, then you're golden. And today I'm going to show you how you use this new Google Trends to do that. So before, most of the topics that were of most interest were mostly political or sports, which if you have a fashion client or a finance client, it would be a bit harder to locate. But now it basically gives you every single trend that's happening. It also gives you the opportunity to check for if these trends are still active. It helps you to search for them by search volume. So if you find a really big trend or maybe a smaller trend, you can search by different locations. So let's just take a quick example here. NHS soup and shake diet. This is something that would have been very trendy, but it wouldn't have been picked up by Google Trends because it only limited the top 10. You can take this trending topic and type it in and see what types of stories are being written on the topic. And you could see 9 hours ago, 16 hours ago. This is a very, very fresh topic. Let's say in this example, you have a health client. How would you approach this? You can use this trending tool in 3 different ways. The first thing is, if this is early enough, you can take this piece of data and say that this type of diet is trending and a small excerpt of whether the diet is good or bad and the implications of it, and you're golden. You're one of the people breaking the story or adding commentary to the story. The second thing you could do is, instead of breaking the story or showing this data and just commenting on it, is commenting on the story after it broke. So the difference is, the first time you're saying, oh, this thing is trendy, and here's the data for it, which you can now track through Google Trends. But now you can, for example, talk about different types of diets, or if this is a diet that didn't work, maybe different fads that have died down and saying this is just going to die down. Or, for example, saying things about specific health cases like diabetes and how that's going to affect it. That is secondary commentary that you can push, and it's around here in the news cycle. It's still a lot of interest in the story, and you can probably get a lot of coverage doing that. And the third case is what I like to call doing follow-up stories or look-back stories. So a follow-up story would be, so we know that diets is a big thing now, and a lot of people are going to be talking about this specific type of diet. What do people need to be aware of when implementing this type of diet? Or what are similar diets that work that might be better than this diet? So this is a follow-up type piece. So you're leveraging the interest, and you can gauge the interest, so you can see that this trend is slowly dying down. But if you find another trend that is slowly building up, then you can leverage that interest in diets to push that story. The look back type of story is when you create a piece after the fact. So maybe you know that this is trend, maybe bookmark it, which is the beautiful bit of this tool where you can now literally export or compare directly from Google Trends and track the story for the next 6 months and see if it's getting better or worse. And then after 6 months, you do a look back piece where you're like, this was the diet, this is the fad, maybe get a case study, maybe get some more expert commentary and talk about it, looking back at the trend. Was it a positive trend? Was it a negative trend? So this is very doable for most business owners, where you can look at this in the morning for about 20-30 minutes, see if there's anything relevant to you. Works for agencies as well. Look if there's anything relevant to your clients. And Google has made it super easy for PRs to find reactive stories now. So thank you, Google. And I'm looking forward to see if there's any more surprise updates on this.